Hi everybody, it's Saturday, February 23rd, 2008. Thanks for stopping by. I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of documentaries that I just watched. One of them was called Occupation 101, and the other one is Peace, Propaganda, and the Promised Land. And both of these documentaries deal with the Israeli occupation of Gaza and the West Bank. Now, before I get started, I'd just like to ask everybody here, do you know why the Palestinians are mad at the Israelis? Do you know what they're doing when they protest against the Israelis? Do you know why they protest against the Israelis? Do you know what the intifadas are and why they occur? Do you know how the Israeli state came into existence and what happened after it came into existence? Do you know the basic history of the region in the past 60 or 70 years? It's a very simple, straightforward history. It's not complicated. There's nothing difficult to grasp about it. It's no more complicated than the Holocaust or the World War II or World War I. It's just a very simple historic event, and I really want you to think about, do you know what happened? And if you don't know what happened, why is that? This is a conflict that is very dangerous and is escalating and is causing a lot of trouble for the entire world. If you don't know anything about it, why is that? Now, personally, I've always been curious about what's going on over there and why the Palestinians always seem so hateful and angry, why they want to kill the Israelis so bad, how the Israelis got there, what is the history of that region that led to this insane conflict that's going on. I've always been curious about that, but I've never been able to figure it out. And I've read newspaper articles about it. I bought little booklets, like after 9/11 they came out with a little booklet about Islam and about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and it didn't explain anything. Or at least I can't remember learning anything from it. I read the whole thing and I didn't know anything about Islam when I got finished. I didn't know anything about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict when I got finished. It was still a big mystery to me. Like, it's always been a mystery, and it always bothered me that I didn't know the truth about it, and I just kind of assumed that it was so complicated that I would never know the truth. Well, I watched these two videos. I found Occupation 101 the other day just looking on YouTube, and I got a message from I think it's a girl named Anne from Germany. That's what her YouTube page said, and I want to thank her because she gave me a link to the Peace, Propaganda, and the Promised Land video, which was an excellent video. And after watching these two documentaries, I know exactly what happened. It's not a mystery at all. It's not complicated. It's very simple. So, here's what the videos say, and it makes perfect sense to me. And if it's not true, then feel free to let me know. But according to the videos, before 1948, that area was a country called Palestine. It wasn't an empty area. It wasn't some kind of frontier land where nobody lived. It was a country with borders, and with a government, with citizens, with people who owned houses and cities, farmers, and it was called Palestine. And the people that lived there were called Palestinians. And there were Jewish settlers coming in, some of whom had the idea that they should start their own Jewish state, and some didn't. And they came in and were welcomed there by the Palestinians. Palestinians didn't try to stop them from immigrating or from owning land and living with them in a peaceful manner. There was no conflict. There was no violence to speak of. It was just a normal country with Jewish people immigrating because it was, land that they felt was their ancestral home. It was mentioned in their holy book, and they were at danger in other parts of the world, particularly when the Nazis took control of Germany. The Jews were in danger, so a lot of the Jews immigrated to Palestine around the time that they were getting ready to implement the final solution. So there was a large Jewish population in Palestine. They owned approximately 8% of the land, and they were, they were just citizens who lived alongside the Palestinian citizens. And in 1948, the British government, who was, of course, still in control of the whole area, partitioned up Palestine into two parts. They gave 56% of the land to the Jews and 44% of the land to the Palestinians. And of course, the Jews only owned about 8% of the land, so they proceeded to start evicting Palestinians from their homes. And of course, it wasn't like a little line halfway across the country. It was a very strange partition, and it turns out that all the best land was going to the Jews. So again, this was another reason why they just kicked the Palestinians off their land. They took the best parts of the land and they gave the Palestinians the rest. Well, the Palestinians didn't like this. They didn't want to be thrown out of their houses. They had deeds to these houses. They legally owned these things. And they were saying, well, you can't just take my property. I own this. I've got a deed to this. So they fought. And when they started fighting back, the Jews, they actually started massacring the Palestinians. They started very brutally killing anyone who resisted being thrown off their land, and this sent a panic through the Palestinians, and they started fleeing. So the Jews took over almost all of Palestine, and they left these two little spots, one called Gaza and the other called the West Bank, and this was all that the Palestinians had left. And they militarily occupy the Gaza and the West Bank. And the Palestinians, they're not allowed to build houses. They're not allowed to travel freely. They're not allowed to enter Jerusalem or any part of Israel. And the worst part is, even though they've only got these little areas they can still live in, there's settlers colonizing these two areas and taking over this land. So pretty soon there's not going to be anywhere left that the Palestinians can live. But don't take my word for it. Watch the videos and tell me what you think, and tell me if you think this is another genocide, because it looks that way to me. So anyway, thanks for listening, and have a good day.